Okay, now what we're going to do is use pH down, because in this case the pH level is too high. So we'll crank it out of the bag. Okay, one pipette over there. Get rid of that. Give it a little shake. Now, pH down is very, very aggressive, so you only have to administer tiny amounts. In this case, all we're actually going to administrate, I should say, is the amount on the exterior side of the pipette. Okay, so we've not actually put any in apart from the residue that's on the outer edge of the pipette. Then we stir it up and we retest. We could have possibly put 1 or 2 drops in, but as I said earlier, it's always best to underdo everything. Do everything slowly and do it again and again, and you'll get it roughly where you need it. Okay, we've just lowered the pH through doing that down to 7.2. So what we do is we do that again, but in this case have a little drop as well. So 1 tiny drop and a little bit of exterior on the pipe. Pop it in. Give it another stir. Okay, we're down to 6.9, so we've still got a little way to go. Okay, 1 more little drop. We've got it down now to 6.1. 6.1. So 1 more go at that. Give it a good stir. Okay, 5.7, 5.6, 5.6. Right, that's good enough. The value I was looking for is 5.5, but 5.6, 5.5 is roughly where you need it. Good enough. You don't have to get it absolutely spot on. If you take it too far down, then you've got to use pH up, which you don't want to do. You'd have to throw the stock solution away and start again. You don't want to use a lot of pH up and a pH down together at this stage for seedlings or cuttings. If you use too much of it, it's very, very aggressive and it can do the root system a lot of damage. If you end up taking the pH too far down, you're much better off throwing the stock solution away and starting again from scratch. Okay, so we've got the level now to 5.6, which is good enough. Ideally I would have wanted 5.5, but 5.6 will suffice. I don't want to take it down any further in case it goes too far down. Now, what you've done basically is added nutrient into the solution to a level of CF at 12 or TDS at 12. We've then adjusted the stock solution down to a pH level of 5.6. We're now ready to soak the rockwool cube. Now, while that's soaking, our jiffy pellet is finished. Okay, what was a very squashed peat pellet, compressed, is now a very swollen sack of dirt. Now that is basically the consistency where you want it, where if you give it a slight squeeze it drips. It's wet enough to keep your seedling going for at least 3 or 4 days, but it's also wet enough to let air in for the root system to breathe. Now what you would do with a jiffy pellet, I'll use a different pipette, is make a hole approximately 3 mil beneath the surface, 3 to 5 mil. You would then pop your desired seed into the jiffy pellet and then cover the seed over. Okay, you would cover it over to a degree where it's cocooned in the dirt itself. The seedling has to be cocooned to keep the moisture completely around it to encourage the seed to germinate. At that point it's then ready to go into your propagator. Perfect. Now, while that's been soaking, our rockwool was sunk down to the bottom. Now, some people like to soak rockwool overnight. It allows the chlorine to rise, and that way when you pull the rockwool out, it doesn't have a lot of chlorine in the actual rockwool itself. However, you don't have to. I mean, to be quite frank, as long as it's soaked and sunk all the way down to the bottom, it's good enough to receive the seedling. Now the key with rock wool is now to give it a squeeze. Okay? The idea of a squeeze is to get approximately 5 to 10% of the volume of water out of the rock wool in order to get oxygen in. If we put a seedling in without the squeeze, you end up with a waterlogged rock wool block. When you put the seed into a waterlogged rock wool block, same thing like the Jiffy, it ends up rotting because it cannot breathe properly. A seed or a cutting needs just the right amount of food, not too much, just the right pH level and just the right wetness. Not too wet, but more wet than dry. So the key to it is just to squeeze 5 to 10% of volume out of the rock wool itself. So we've got water in there, we've got nutrient in there, we've got air in there, we've got everything the seedling needs. We then make, just like in the Jiffy pellets, approximately a hole 5mm beneath the surface. We then get the seed and pop the seed into the hole and then gently cover the seed over. Now with rock wool, do not pinch it tight. When you're covering the seed over, you have to do it gently. A seedling only has enough inertial energy to get up, okay? If it's blocked, if this rock wool's been squashed too tightly, it will not fight its way through to the surface, it will end up dying. So you just cover it over gently and then it's ready to go into your propagator. That's how you do rock wool, that's how you do Jiffy pellets.